Doctor, I see spots. It's not good.
Is that good? You like that, huh?
I do like that.
I am feeling better.
Good.
Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
No idea. You guys must have had some type of meeting in here.
Yeah, he was always having special meetings. Hey, John,
Kaz,
are we live?
you know, I think this is our first show. I was just looking at the monitor since December 17th.
Well, we had the 2-week layoff,
Yeah. Little New Year's, little Christmas.
right? And then I wasn't very well last week at all.
Kaz called me last Monday, and I didn't even recognize his voice. He wasn't feeling too, so, he sounded like
I'm about 80% back.
80%.
Yeah.
And you sucked it up for the team and came down.
Well, it won't do no good to, do you ever sit home and watch that crap that's on TV?
All the talk
I mean,
shows.
You can watch 18 Judge Judys and
Were you watching like the Maury show?
Hot Bench and
Hot Bench.
Jeopardy and
See Jeopardy. You got to be smart to watch Jeopardy. So I watch.
then you watch reruns of football games that have been over for a year.
And then soap operas are on.
Got to get out of the house. Honest to God, you do.
Yeah, it gets bad. It
was like when I was a kid and I used to get sick.
Yeah.
And you got the graham crackers or the plain crackers,
Yeah.
the ginger ale,
Yeah.
the bowl right by in case you had to.
Do your thing.
Yeah, and then you got to watch such thrilling shows like
Yeah.
Green Acres.
Well, back in the day, though, we only had 12. Did we have 3 channels at least back in your day?
No, not originally.
No, we didn't. When I was a kid, it was 12, 24, 35, and if you're lucky, you got a little bit of WQLN.
Well, it was 12 and 35.
Yeah.
And then when I was in high school, they came out with 24 because they used to split. How was it? They split, I think. One channel did 2.
Oh.
And I thought it was CBS and, it would have had to been because 12 was VHF. So the 2 UHF channels were on the same channel. And so they simulcasted. So you didn't always get all the great shows. And then QLN came. Of course, if you had a real good antenna, or some of your friends did,
Yeah.
you could watch like hockey on Channel 10 or 11.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, as a kid. I remember it used to be a little fuzzy.
Yeah, for us poor kids, you just saw blurs going across the screen.
I remember that was, when I was younger, Wayne Gretzky in Edmonton, they were, they had
yeah.
hockey night in Canada.
Yeah, well, you'd walk along the street, you hear, and you look, and there's big antennas twisting. Kids are antennas.
Antennas, yeah. Well, kids nowadays, I'm not going to go, when I was a kid, how we do that, but they couldn't handle, back in the days, the national anthem, remember the national anthem came on? That means TV was going off for the night.
Yeah, and then you heard it again at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's, once you heard the national anthem.
And you always had a real bad B movie at the end of the night.
Yeah, and then the national anthem would kick on, and the next thing you know, there was fuzz.
Geez, hello, anybody alive out there?
Is this thing even working?
Is it?
Yep, this is working.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're out of sight, out of mind, Kaz. They watch that same stuff.
Although I did get two or three phone calls when I was gone.
Uh-oh, what'd you do now?
No, nothing. They were wondering, we had a little trouble with the cable.
Uh-oh, what was wrong with it? I have cable, what was wrong with it?
Our channel wasn't coming on.
Oh, you're right.
This might be what, we woke somebody up.
They hung up. Call back. You're right, because I did turn it on one day, and they were having trouble with it. But Mike just turned it on right now, and I could see it plain as day. They don't want to watch our replay.
Some do.
Yeah, but for 3 weeks, oh God.
They critique it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, these guys, they don't know nothing. These two, they're talking bad about us probably. So how's everything going? How was the holidays for you? When did you get sick? After New Year's, hopefully, or?
Right after the, I can't pinpoint whether it was the holiday, around all the people,
Yeah.
because you're around people.
Right.
It could have been, I mean, it was a combination of, the last football game when I went to one of the local watering holes.
I didn't touch it that time.
I went to one of the local watering holes, went to, midnight mass, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody was around, friends, family, who knows?
Yeah, that's right, because they weren't on TV that last game, so.
And then around here too, I mean, when you're in the public eye, you meet a lot of people, who knows,
When you're popular, it's kind of tough.
But it's gone, my wife had it, I had it, my brother-in-law's got it.
I
Hard to say who brought it, where it came from.
had it too for a minute, right at the beginning. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, hi guys.
Hey,
Hey, John.
How's it going?
Finally better.
he hasn't been feeling too good, John.
I think what he needs is a bowl of tripe.
No, what I need is some Polish cough syrup.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's
Whiskey?
100 proof or 90?
well, it could be Old Krupnik, or it could be, what do you call it, God's gift to the Polish people, Voda.
Yeah. What you need
Voda with a little bit of lemon juice or something.
A little bit of
hot
cake.
whiskey and lemon juice. Or honey.
Well, honey whiskey's good.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad at all. So,
Oh, Old Krupnik, try it sometime.
well, we used to make our own rock and rye. We got the 190 proof alcohol from the state store,
Yeah.
and we'd mix all our food up with it and put it in the jars. Those are the good old days.
I remember they used to have those rock and rye bottles with the.
Yeah, they used to have all the fruit in it. They had an orange in it, a lemon in it, a lime.
Didn't they have crystal in there too, like crystal sugar or something?
They had some of that in there, and my dad didn't like paying the price, so he went and bought the gallon of 190 proof at the state store, and we started making our own. We even made our own anisette. So what's going on downtown there? We see that wonderful council had a nice opportunity to put another council person in, and I didn't go for that one bit.
You mean how we did it?
Yes.
It was complicated.
That was complicated, all right.
But I can tell you openly that I did not stack the ballot box. And my cohort here came in pretty good. He hung in there.
I think it's a real farce to put a previous council person on, because you're not going to get another fresh idea. You're going to get the same old. And you know what happens when you get the same old?
Well, I did read let me tell you this, I read every
Resume?
yeah, I did. Then we had a chance to question them.
How many times and how'd you break it down?
I'll tell you, this was in all my life in public office, this was the most intensive search I've ever been in. Because usually what happens is, my previous experience, and most of it was with the school board, was you come in, you get a bunch of documents, you read them, you have a vote, you don't even talk to the people. And it's all over. And this one, at least, what we did was we read them all first. We had a mock vote to whittle down the field to those that we wanted to interview. Then we came up with a question, we thought, the same question that would be relevant to all of them, because they were all asked a series of, what was it, 3 questions, John?
Yeah.
We all had 3 questions, and that's what we did to call the field down, to bring it down to a manageable level. Then we issued another question plus a chance to address us, at the meeting. So at least in this case, no one can complain that they didn't get to say something. I've been at somewhere, once you put your application in, that's the last time you heard from them. So this one was at least open. I mean, nobody's going to be happy. Let me tell you this. Nobody is ever going to be happy. And what you have to understand is there's 7 votes, and everybody's got their own idea. Just like, Supreme Court or...
Only 6 votes.
Well, yeah, okay, I apologize. 6 votes, everybody's got their own mind, They got their favorites, they got people they're interested in. And at the end of the day, it comes down to, what the majority thinks,
Well, what I think, I won't say on the air.
Well, I mean,
Me
look,
neither.
you're entitled to your opinion. There were some things that went wrong. I will say, look, I'm not happy with it, but it was much more intensive than any one I'd ever been involved in. That doesn't say it's perfect.
Well, it's just like these various authorities telling you all the authority members to resign, and then the heads pick the authorities. I don't buy this. Just like this deal with the parking authority now.
What, you don't like the fact that the mayor picks them?
No, I don't like the way that they kind of let through the old authority out, even though they didn't have not a sunset clause. It was almost like it's picked for life.
Well, here's what's going to be interesting. Let me check my calendar. As I have a funny feeling.
I think there's 58 or 59 applications already for that.
Well, tomorrow morning I got a meeting with the parking authority. I want to see who shows up.
Probably nobody.
Well, I think their board was not asked to resign yet. I think they're going to possibly replace them.
They said they were going to replace the whole board.
They've always served at what they call the, what do you call it?
Clean sweep?
No, what do you call that? You serve at the behest of the mayor?
At the will of the people.
You're at the will of the mayor, and council has no parking authority appointments.
Well, do you have to approve them?
Yeah, but I mean.
So if you don't have any appointments, you have your say by approving them.
Right, but up to this time, I've never seen anybody really get into any debate. Now, I'll tell you this.
I think you'll be getting into a debate with our little...
I voted no on every board member of the EMTA, and I will probably vote against any member of the parking authority because there was no courtesy issued by the administration to me as liaison that this was even happening. And to do this at a time when, look, we can blame the previous mayor for not replacing him. But if you look at what happened with the parking authority the last 3 years, actually 4, we've been involved in the upgrade of the parking meters, which has taken about 4 years. People don't believe it, but with all the paperwork, the studying of how we could redesign our ordinances, the going out to look for companies that were interested, getting prospectuses, seeing which one fits our needs. It's been about a 4-year ride. Not to mention, they've been involved in, they've been working with me on the parking fines that were past due. So it's a very active board. They've been doing good. Just to replace him, I would say if you want to stagger him, that's one thing, but to lose institutional knowledge where on that board you had a past director. Now they just lost their director too. There's another one. Here you have an authority in the middle of a huge upgrade in meters and they just lost their director. He retired, due to reasons, that are his own and stuff. The whole thing there is why has the city let over $2 million in fines? Well, that's a question. That's not the parking authority's fault. Let me tell you this.
That's the police department's fault.
Well, it's administered by the police department, and those are things I'd like to change because I think, just the appearance of the police being involved is not good.
No.
And nor the parking authority. The parking authority does their job very well because obviously if you had 2 million unpaid tickets, somebody did their job right, correct?
But it's the deadbeats out there that don't pay their fines.
Yeah, but you can't blame them. You have to blame us.
Well, true, but
here's what I say to people.
If I got a fine, I'm going to pay it immediately.
That's you, but a lot of people have come to the opinion in this town that...
The old Philadelphia syndrome.
Well, if you don't get caught, you let it ride till you get caught. If nobody catches you or nobody stays on your case, you're going to keep your mouth shut and let it ride. You know what? And that's what's happened. The parking authority did their job. This is what I tell people. They issued the tickets. Could they have issued more?
It's probably making Ray Denisio turn over in his grave.
Right.
What point do you get where they come to put the boot on your vehicle? I mean, how,
We changed that. It was like 5 tickets.
5 tickets?
I thought it was 5. We changed it now. We cut it back down tremendously.
Okay.
But here's the thing, though. Somebody has to monitor it. And you basically were not doing the job, and then you really weren't pressing people. And, the authority did their job, so one day at a meeting, I asked them,
What about your towing people that you have? If they don't pay their ticket, you impound their car, right?
Right, we should start, and you know what? I think the fact that we brought it to a head, we talked about it, now it's an issue they're aware of, and they know the council is watching them, because that was the big thing. I said, we're leaving money on the table. We did it with the garbage, we corrected that. We're doing it with the parking tickets, and we're doing it with,
You guys should invest.
what did you read in the other paper the other day? Building permits weren't being taken out on certain things. We're missing a lot of revenue.
You guys should invest in a lot of boots. And then that way, when
And
people,
what started that? Council.
I mean, if you guys start putting a boot, then you'll start collecting revenue.
Did you hear anything from anybody until council started yelling?
No.
That's what started, not the mayor's office, not anybody else. It was council. And I'll say this, specifically me being a hard ass on the board, because I looked at it, and I used to work there, and I knew how many tickets were outstanding when I was a kid, a young man working there. And we didn't have the computers we do today, so it was all manual work. You had to ride around and look. Today we got computers,
If you guys should invest in boots.
we did, but you still only got now 2 men doing it.
I was just about to say, now, in Pennsylvania, because they do it on that show, the parking people themselves put the boots on the cars.
Well, maybe that's something we should look at. You know what?
Absolutely, it's something you should
I
look
think you
at.
might ought to have a new law after three violations. You're ready to be impounded by a towing service.
Well, we did the booting, so that's the first step.
The only thing is when if you do impound them, you're gonna have to pay a lot of money to get your vehicle out. I like the idea of the boot better.
Well, the boot is down to 3 now, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys better get some more boots and just
Well, there are more
increase
boots.
the boosting.
We need more. We got to find a way, and I think you got a good idea. Maybe we should farm it out.
Yeah, I mean, when the parking authority, on that show, I mean, that's Philadelphia, the parking wars, they're from Philadelphia, so
How do they handle these guys when they go into bad areas where you might get shot at, though?
the parking people handle it. They don't play around. I mean, they go in there, they put the boots
Say
on.
somebody else if I drew a little interest out there.
Yeah, call back if nobody calls.
Hey, John, did you hear the rumor?
What's that?
Saquon wants to go to Cleveland now.
Yeah, right. He
Okay.
wishes. Have a good day, John. I mean, that's the way, boots, if you guys invested in boots,
We did.
they'd pay for them. So how many boots do we have? I mean, if you know.
I don't know off the top. It was
Yeah.
quite a few, and they added another man.
They did add another police officer to the boot duty?
Yeah.
Okay, well then there's 2 guys doing.
Well, I don't know if they're doing it at the same time, but it's not one guy doing it only now.
Boots would pay for themselves.
They could if they're done
They
right.
would.
If they're done right.
Well, yeah, right. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, your picture keeps fading off and on.
Actually,
Trouble down there? Or?
not at our end, so I'm guessing it's, I'm going to have to give Time Warner Spectrum a call, because our engineer told us that the complaints we're getting, they checked at our end, and our end is working good, our feed. So it's got to be something, because we're watching it right
We
now.
watch it right now as we.
Right now, it's all right, but when John was on there, the picture went black and...
We'll keep an eye on it as we're watching it.
Yeah.
But it seems to be a problem at the, I'm going to have to call the, Spectrum. And they've been doing a lot of switching, because what they did was they took my I recently left Time Warner officially and went to Spectrum, and they changed it where our channel was and everything. So they might be having issues, lining these all up, and But, yeah, I'll keep an eye on it here, okay?
Yeah, it's all right now, but like I said, it was going nuts there for a while there.
We didn't notice anything.
No, I didn't notice it.
Stuff, you know, how you,
I can ask Mike, 'cause he's seeing our feed.
like I said, right now it's perfect. But when John was on there, the screen went black and it come on. You could hear him talking.
Right.
And black right now, but
Yeah, I got a funny feeling it's at their end, because our engineer did check it out, so, I mean, he had complaints over the holiday.
yeah. Okay.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Like,
There's something going on, but,
Yeah, because I did, I have Spectrum too, and we're on like channel 1024. We're so
well,
far.
Spectrum, there's 2 levels of billing.
Yeah, I'm at the high level. Go ahead, caller.
I've been watching the show from the beginning. Your screen was fine.
Okay.
Okay, so you know what that tells me? That certain areas of the city are having a problem.
Yeah, it comes in fine with me. I'm up by Mercyhurst.
Hey, that's where I live, so I haven't had the problem either.
I've had problems, and I live, I don't live up
They
that
couldn't-
area.
The other thing I want to ask you, Kaz, why don't you give that council seat to the person who got the second most votes during the election? That was solved. The people spoke when he voted.
Well, that was suggested in the past, in every, every office I've ever seen, from school board to councils. No one's ever put an ordinance in or a practice to do it. It does make sense.
Yeah, that'd be a fair thing. The people voted, and whoever got the second amount of votes gets that job.
Well, that happened many years ago, about 12 years ago. I ran for city council, and I don't know if it was Jimmy that passed away or something like that. I was the next on the ballot,
Yeah.
right behind Jim Winarski. Was right when he first came on council, and I was next and I was the next vote getter. I lost by like 100 or 200 votes. It was really close, and I wasn't chosen. They chose somebody else. So.
I have watched this over the years, and there's no system that's ever worked. And that'd probably be the best way, is, just offer it to the second place finisher.
Yeah, that's what the people spoke. The voters have already spoke. That he got the most votes, give it to the second person.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to, I don't want to sound bitter or anything, but what I witnessed the other day when they chose it was not good. Was not good.
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay. But, what were we talking about? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the cable, because,
It sounds like it's, wherever it is, it's, regional.
yeah, because, I mean, usually it comes in fine, but for some reason it didn't that day. So, I mean, let's talk about these authority appointments and different things like that.
Yeah.
For, we'll pick that up.
Hold your thought.
Hold that thought. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys one more thing, then I'm going to go cook some supper. I wrote a letter to the editor about the leaf pickup. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I don't get the paper, but my mother told me about it.
But, I talked to Moss, and I had a little bit of conversation with him, and he forwarded on to your new director, or whatever his position is.
Mulvihill?
No, I talked to Moss Sala.
Yeah, I mean, he forwarded it to the Public Works Director.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, David Mulvihill.
So, that very night, I talked to him, and I told him he could forward my letter that I was sending into the editor to him. And that very night, at 11:30 at night, and we have no curbs up here or anything, guess what went up my street at 11:30?
A leaf pickup?
No, a street sweeper.
Oh, really?
Yes, 11:30 that night.
So Marcela got it done.
Well, the leaves, I hired a man to come and get them. But you still go all around the various areas. You go up to Trask, Elliott, Frontier Park, Green Garden. The city was still out there with, I call it their Jaws machine, picking all these leaves up. What is the difference in them having theirs picked up and me having mine not picked up. I'm paying taxes. I'm sure they're paying taxes, but they're getting the benefit that I'm not getting.
Where is that they're picking them up?
I've seen them picking up Beach, Elliott, Sassafras, Green Garden, Frontier Park. They go along with that clamp machine.
Yeah.
They have a blower and they put them in the truck.
It seems like that in South Shore we get a lot of complaints about,
Yeah.
and you can make your own inferences out of that. But, yeah, I don't get pickup either. I mean, leaves will lay out in the street.
Plug up the sewers. And, I've yet to see a sewer cleaner. They used to clean out the basins. I haven't seen one of those up here in 15 years. And I've called many times because they're filling up with leaves and bottles and grass growing out of them. And they wonder why you're getting all this flooding and all this damage throughout the city of Erie. Well, and I see a great big machine that's supposed to go around cleaning them, and nobody seems to come up in the hills.
I guess we have to put a complaint in and see if they come.
Well, we can do that. So, but I just wanted to bring that on.
Why don't you do that and document it, and then we'll track it, okay?
I'll document it with Lisa Thompson down at the Times News.
That seems to be the only thing that shakes them up, that and the TV stations.
Yeah, I suppose, but it's one of those things, and
We had an incident, I won't go into great detail, but every councilman and councilwoman was contacted, the administration was contacted, Moss Saylor was contacted, and nothing happened. Now, you can't blame Moss. Moss does his job.
He puts everything down to the T, the time of the call, how many times he's called,
Right.
how many times he responds.
So it's what happens afterwards that's,
That's the name of the game.
So we had, well, I'll tell you what it was a car.
It's still there.
Is it?
Yes. I know the incident.
I thought it was taken away.
I don't think so.
I thought what we were told was, anyway, when you get to that point and a council person can't get it done, and the mayor doesn't do it, I mean, what do you have, chaos? So you have to embarrass them on TV? That's getting bad.
Well, sure, and just like these places where you see pieces of pole hanging, you see trees hanging, and, they just ignore it.
Well, people got to understand around here. They, look, I'm not a god. I'm not an emperor. I'm not anybody special, but I'm a council person. And people elected me to be their sounding board. Would you agree?
Yes,
So if I make a phone call,
something should be done.
it ought to carry a little bit more weight that, if I got enough complaints, there used to be a theory that you kept your bosses happy. When I was a young man, they always told us keep the council, keep the councilman happy, keep the mayor happy, keep the school directors happy. You learned that when you were a kid, Keep the principal happy, keep the teacher, everybody. There's a lack of, it's like nobody cares anymore.
It's a lack of disrespect for the voters.
Well, sure it is. They complain and they go, well, just him complaining or her.
I mean, they're your boss.
Yeah,
The voters are your bosses.
Have you watched the number of people leaving this town because they just get tired?
True.
They don't want to, they get tired of complaining because it doesn't get them anywhere.
That's right.
I was amazed that they said, the mayor said to this gentleman, well, you should have called Moss. And in that conversation, I clearly heard him say other people had called Moss.
True. Why?
So, I mean, somebody fell down on the job afterwards.
The mayor's there. He's looking to cover his exterior.
Why cover it? Start bouncing some butts around here that.
And when you have second lieutenants out there making more money than he is,
Well, whose fault is that?
that's the administration's fault.
Yes, sir.
I mean, there's your answer right there.
And you know what? This thing about, what we got to remember is we're in the public service business. We don't make a product. We deliver one. And when people are not happy, yes, they do pay our salaries. They do.
That's true. Well, I'll get off. I'm I'm going to send you a little article over about, it'll wake you up about the people on getting help from the government and the government pensions.
You gonna send it to me?
I'll send it to you, right?
Hey, John, wasn't that a little sadness that Majestic's Bakery left?
Yes, it is. You know, I knew the guys down there, and they were fantastic, and they used to do a lot of work for our knowns. They helped them out. They baked the pizza shells, and
I would have liked to buy one loaf of bread there. I mean, I was raised in that area when I was a kid.
now you're going to have to go to Pittsburgh
Why?
to get good bread.
Those guys were good.
Well, I used to like their pumpernickel and their rolls, and the Italian bread. You know, Italians call it spiccata because it's split.
Right. You know, we got so much. See, my dad would never buy the Vienna. He had to have the spiccata.
No, Vienna is a woman's bread.
Yeah, the spiccata was that was the one. But it's sad that once again we lost.
Like our knowns, we lost them too.
Yeah, and all we got left now is like Bill's International, couple.
I like his bread.
But he
He shoots steam into it.
Yeah, but he's a local. Here's the thing: we don't have many local guys left anymore.
No, you have to support him, even though you don't like it.
Well, who do we got? We got Bill's and International, and
I don't think he has a sandstone oven.
no, he probably doesn't. But then he inherited that,
Yeah, when I worked for DeMichael's, we had a sandstone oven in our pizza. The two ovens were sandstone, about 4 inches thick, and you kept them hot all day long, all night long.
Yeah, we definitely lost a lot of the. Hey, it's lost now.
You mean DeMichael's Pizza,
We
John?
had Bakers and
DeMichael's.
Denny's and all
That was good.
all the good places.
You worked at DeMichael's, didn't you?
I worked there I worked every store he had.
For the pizza shop?
Yeah, he had 6 stores.
Those were good. I remember those when I was a kid. Those were
To
good.
trade with Chicken Delight Pizza for Chicken
good.
Delight. We got to know them. They were on West 8th Street.
Yeah.
I'd get a Chicken Complete Delight dinner, and I'd trade off a pizza.
John was the anchovy man.
I loved anchovies.
Me too.
God, those are gross, but
The white ones. You ever have the white ones?
No,
There's white ones. They're out of this world.
I never tried one.
They're great. People would soak them in milk for a little bit. It takes a little bit of the strength and the salt away. And they are fantastic.
Yeah, my mother used to do something like that with them.
We used to make tzipoli. You know what a tzipoli is?
No.
It's like a pepperoni ball. It's a tzipoli. You make the dough and you put the anchovy in the center.
we called it fishbowl. What'd you call it?
Tzipoli.
Ah.
And we used to bake them and deep fry them.
Yeah, my mother deep fried them.
Yep, till they blister. You can make that real easy with Rich's Birch,
Look at John.
the frozen dough.
ugh,
Yeah, I see. He's quirking up his face now. He must taste the anchovy.
Hey, you and I are getting together, okay?
Yeah.
they're good.
So if you get that frozen dough, that Rich's frozen dough, you cut that into pieces and let it rise and stuff in your pepperoni or your anchovies.
Yeah, that's what my mother did.
And then you can even stick mozzarella cheese in the pepperoni.
Well, we used to go over and get fresh dough from like International,
Yeah, I used to get fresh dough from Balkan's Bakery.
and then bring it home. My mother would put them in there and fry it up.
Oh, yeah. You can always drizzle honey on them, too.
Look at John. He's just not into it.
The anchovies are
Guys,
just,
have a great day.
take care.
Goodbye.
Anchovies are just
I'm
disgusting.
going to get together with John, though.
You guys need to go eat anchovies somewhere. Just get an anchovy pizza and just sit down and reminisce about the old cut neighborhood. John's from my old neighborhood. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to the new year.
Yeah, you too.
Hey, a lot of these local businesses are going out of business because the kids are too lazy to take over for them. The kids nowadays don't seem to want to work for a living.
That's probably a lot. You're not making fun, but if you look at it like.
Yeah, well, Dairy Queen, West Dairy Plaza there, he went out of business because his kids didn't want to take over the business.
Which one was that? The West Erie Plaza, yeah.
Dairy Queen there in 8th and Pittsburgh.
What, Bill's Bakery, I knew, he's younger than I am.
So he's going out of business because he's losing his health. Kids didn't want to take over.
I talked to Chris from Bill's Bakery, It's a tough job getting up in the morning, but he was a little younger than I was.
Gotta make the donuts.
But he's getting older, now, so, you know, you look around and who's gonna take over for him?
Yeah.
I remember at Vulcan Bakery, they used to go at 2 o'clock in the morning to start making the stuff for the next day. 2 o'clock in the morning.
What's this guy say? What, you gotta get up early and make the donuts,
Gotta
right?
make the donuts. They get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to make them, so.
Yeah, no, I was kind of upset too with as nice as the weather's been here for the leaf pickup. Because I live on a block where there's only 4 houses occupied on the whole block. So all the vacant homes and the slum landlords, you know, I wind up raking up their leaves all the time. When I rake mine up, they all just blow back into my property. So when I found out they weren't going to pick them up anymore, I just watched the weatherman. Wait till you see them 50, 60 mile an hour south winds, and I rake them into the street, and they're gone in the morning.
Mother Nature takes care of it, right?
Yeah, Mother Nature blows them right into Bayview Park.
Hey, hang tight, because I got a tip on something. I might try to pass an ordinance.
Yeah.
It might address the issue of some of these abandoned houses.
I can understand if you're not going to pick up the leaves for recycling anymore, but composting. But that's garbage. I got to get rid of. You know, I told them, I said, can I just put them in bags and you can haul them away to the landfill? And I said, it's garbage. I got to get rid of. I don't want it laying around my yard all. That's what he told me. He said, put them in bags and wait till spring. So. Like I said, I saw them warm temperatures there them couple days. Yeah, 90% of them are gone with the wind, and then the street cleaner did pick up the rest. Because usually down here, if you rake leaves into the street, they just go around them. You know, it's not like out in Frontier and all them other places where they actually pick up the leaves when you rake them in the street.
Yeah, they told me they got more trees in those places.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The boulevards is their excuse. We got to pick them up because of the boulevards.
Yeah.
When it's obvious, the homeowners are just raking them into the street.
So maybe what we all should do is put boulevards down our street.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I've been playing the game too long. I just watch the weather, man. In my case, when I see 50-hour south winds, they go in the street.
I don't blame you.
On the next day.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, I just making my comments on them few things there. New year, same old problems.
Yeah,
The
well,
more things change, the more they stay the same.
it's really cold out there today, though.
Yes, it is.
Very cold. I was out there today, still taking down Christmas decorations.
Right.
I still haven't taken mine down yet, but
Well, see,
Yeah.
my family's
I don't have much left, you know, little things here and there, but, yeah.
my family's got a little, Russian Orthodox background, and so, technically,
So they stay up the whole month, so.
yeah, well, yesterday was Russian New Year,
oh yeah, that's the.
so, I have a built-in excuse to leave mine up a little longer, so, but they gotta come down this week at some point.
Yeah, I leave my spotlights up all winter, though, because it's just so dark out during the winter. But I take down all the holiday stuff.
Right.
Well, the big hanging lights, I leave them up because putting a ladder up there with soggy ground is not a great idea, and
Oh, yeah.
so I wait till the spring on that. But the other stuff I'll take down.
Yeah. I just want to make my comment on today's youth, though. They sure don't seem to want to work hard.
Not jobs like that. I mean, I was amazed that
I mean, that is hard work going into business.
they like the ones where you go into these think shops and you sit around and
They wanna work at home on the computer.
yeah.
Yeah. When you own your own business, there ain't no such thing as a 40-hour week.
But these same people that like that, they always like their coffee and donuts in the morning.
Oh, yeah. You see the line every morning at, what's that place from Washington? I can't even remember the name of the coffee shop now, because I ain't never paid for a cup of coffee. I ain't never paid for a glass of water or bottle of water. If you can't drink your coffee at home or drink water from the tap, then that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. God, what is the name of it? I can't think of the name of that place now.
That's a private one, isn't it?
Yeah, there's one there now at 12th and Pittsburgh. I drive by there every morning. There's a line halfway down the block getting into that, I can't even think.
Coffee's big business now.
Oh, yeah, and it's crazy, too. They ain't paying 50 cents a dollar for a cup of paying in some cases $8, $9 for a cup of latte, whatever, know?
That's a latte.
How much that adds up?
John said that's why they call them a latte, because it costs a latte.
That's right.
A latte, yeah. All right, you guys,
Have a good day.
take care.
It's true, though, you know, that coffee is, that's a,
Yeah, I don't get it.
a lot of people are going into it that are unemployed.
I got the top $2. I think I paid for $2. It'll be a cold day in hell, no pun intended, with the weather today. Before I pay $8 for a latte.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I thought I was on the Food Channel for a while.
This thing evolves into a lot of things.
Yeah, you never know.
Now that we have Moss taking phone calls, we can talk about anything.
Sometimes we turn into ESPN too. You never.
But seriously, when you think about it, like the gentleman brought up something great that, you would think with all the immigrants coming here, and this is what used to happen in the old days, as the new generation came here, they brought with them their cultures, their dining habits. That's where'd we get Italian bread from and all that. And today, you don't see people like entering into those businesses anymore. Like,
They all enter into the little shops, the little
nobody
corner
does.
stores, and
It's hard to find a tailor anymore or an alteration person. It's hard to get like homemade bread.
They don't even have the hat makers.
No, Kakura was probably the last one, right?
I think so. Hey, my question is real quick and simple.
Yeah.
They're talking about putting a trolley down State Street.
That's I don't know that was something that came out of one of these study sessions. They brought somebody in and the gentleman came up with an idea like that. But I don't know if there's any,
I mean, is that to replace the trolley type buses that they're using?
they haven't filled council in on any of it. From what I understand, and I don't know much about it. Sounds like it's going to be separate.
Because if they're going to put railroad tracks down the street or however they're going to run that trolley,
Yeah.
then you're going to create hazards for people with wheelchairs or, like in my case, with a white cane, you're getting the cane stuck in the tracks.
Well, I heard it was going to go from, and I won't say I'm hearing just what I hear on TV. It's going to go from the train station, down to the dock area.
Yeah, I'd be concerned because I don't know if
I'm not a track man either, not because you know what? Maintenance-wise, it's going to be a nightmare. You're going to have people riding bikes, women with high heels getting caught in there.
it's a safety concern. But
Well, I don't know. I mean, do you like the idea?
yes and no.
Think of this. Pittsburgh has taken out the tracks.
I'll have that.
I believe they did, and I don't think they have those buses anymore. Cleveland took them out years ago. Buffalo, I think, has one going down the street yet, but
they still have any down 12th Street.
they are on the side of the road, I think, a couple of them.
Where are they going to put these at? Right in the
Sounds
middle?
like right down the middle of the street.
Right down. Oh boy.
They used to do this years ago. Pittsburgh, if you remember, when my daughter attended college, it was before that. They were in high school, my kids. They had just gone to the subway in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They just built it. And they still had these buses that were electrified that were on tracks.
Yeah.
Now, Cleveland had them at one time when I was a kid. They all got rid of them because, A, they were limited to where they could be used, and B, you had maintenance issues with wires and track.
No, things are a little different now, though. But
Well, I would hope it would be a trackless trolley. But then again, why wouldn't you let the EMTA run it? Come up with a study, fund it, if that's what you want, right?
who were they talking about funding it? The city?
You know what? It was a concept thrown out there. Like, Doc, I have no idea what they're up to.
Well,
But they haven't talked to council about it.
that had me wondering if we were going backwards instead of forward with it.
Well, you know what? They got, like, if you go to San Diego, they got the Tijuana trolley. And it's a track system, but in most towns where they have, like in Cleveland, where they still have the track system, it's off on the side somewhere. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
It's not down the center street no more. It's like when you go to New York and once they get out of the main town, they're down.
Would you have to shut down State Street to do
I don't know what, nobody knows what they're up to.
I mean, you'll have
Well, if you took the parking off of State Street to the side, you could probably put the tracks on the side there, one going one way and one track coming back the other way.
If we take that off on the sides, I'd rather see them use horse carriages to tour downtown with.
Right, that's what I would say too.
Or have that for, they used to have these pedal pubs that didn't make it here.
Yeah, but you have the bump outs.
You know what
Traffic still has to
You're
merge
right.
to the middle of the street to get back.
Yeah, I
to
see the bump out screwed that up.
And you can't take the bump outs out because we'll have to repay the grant money back to the state.
It's crazy, and like if you go to Chicago, the subway is, it's actually elevated. In the
it's
in the
above,
center.
yeah.
That's why they call it the L. It's in the.
Right,
You go to New York, it's underground.
yeah.
Yeah,
But where they do come above ground, they're usually like in Cleveland. You'll see them running along the side of the highway or something.
Yeah.
But you don't want them. Years ago, when downtowns were first, like we had trolleys in Erie, we had horse trolleys and stuff. It's nothing new. I mean, it's just.
You'd have to shut down, I think the Urban Land Institute, according to one of their plans, they suggested shutting down State Street again.
You know what?
Did we already do that and
We've
realize?
been through that one.
Yeah, I know, even that's been in my lifetime, we've been through that.
the other question I have had, I know Buckman is talking, I guess that was pretty well used, the sheds that or if I call them sheds, but the different buildings they put up during We Love Erie days, not We Love, during the Erie Delights.
Right.
Was people to set up little sales places for 3 Fridays, 3 weekends, something like that.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about, I guess, putting up something in there, kind of almost like a permanent basis to be there.
Once again, the administration has not talked to council.
Okay, so in other words, they can't do it without council permit. But wouldn't that?
Well, I don't know if they can or they can't, but
I mean, wouldn't that take away from the park?
I would say before I'd be putting permanent structures in there, I'd want to get the, doing the temporary is one thing, but, you have people with vested interest on there, like, and I'll say it, Gannon, the public, Erie Insurance, people that like the parks. I think there's a Perry Square group. I think I'd want to run that by them before I did something like that, because, you know what? Structures in a park like that, you got to secure them. They're going to be a problem. It's okay on a temporary basis. For instance, I went to, I think it was Bethlehem one time, and they had this festival during Christmas, and they put up little huts like that. They had like a little German fest, because they have a big German population down there. And that's nice, but they take them down after their holiday.
Now, they also one time, if I remember right, talk about putting something where that second fountain had been on the western side of the park,
Yeah.
That they're going to probably put something back up in that little area.
They may. Years ago, they had a fountain in there when I was a kid.
Remember that fountain? But plus the cannons. Remember the cannons were over that side too.
Yep.
So,
And if you go way back, they used to have a German band shell there where they had a band that played in there.
well, I was just wondering because even if you put some kind of memorial in that little spot, that would still make that park better, particularly, okay, we have a memorial park up by the Academy Stadium for the different wars.
What I'd like to see done, but good luck, is put a thing in there with dancing waters, so the kids could go in there and...
Well, why don't they put something up like, okay, you got Perry on the east side there facing 6th Street. Why don't they put something, maybe some kind of informational thing about the War of 1812 in that side here that people can read or maybe listen to it recorded or...
Well, there's a big thing now going on about the role of the park that we started, my group started at, near the stadium, which is now taking a bigger role. And you'll shortly see the World War I rollout. John, you're involved with that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
What Carl is.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
And so, I mean, that park has taken on more of the military aspect, which I think is good. Because I think over there we can dedicate it in such a way that there's a specific function. Eventually we'll have sidewalks, you know, bisecting that park. But, excuse me.
I'm saying something about War of 1812 because I believe it's called Perry Square too. I kind of recognize that Admiral Perry and his use of the lake. We need to, I would say it would be nice to put something up there besides just having them stand on the other end.
Yeah, well, that was done by Tom Hagen, who thought that was a perfect spot for it.
Right. Well, it is a good spot. There's no question there. It's just maybe we need.
The trouble with the park is it's been, over the years, changed in many ways, many directions, redesigned, removed. They took one statue out, put it at the post office. So it's gone through a lot of changes.
I don't know why they, you know, they took the statue on the west end of the park is, you know, it's in great condition.
Yeah.
And poor old Oliver Hazard over there is all oxidized and green. Kind of surprises me that, I don't know who made that decision or who's funding what.
There's a theory that you leave them turn green to protect them.
Yeah, is that what it is?
There is a theory.
Well, and then why didn't they redid this one over here? The one the one right over here, which
You mean the guys with
the soldiers, yeah.
That depends who's in charge of it. I don't know who's in charge of Perry.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know why.
I can remember when I was
Well, it's on
Doc,
city-
you remember
it's on city property, so.
Yeah, but I don't know who's in charge of the statue. Sometimes they get permission to put them there.
I don't know who's in charge of statue, but when they had the cannons, remember the ROTC from Gannon would go over and either that or Pershing rifles or one of the
I was just going to bring it up to you. Do you remember those days?
They used to go over there and polish up that brass with a Chinese brass.
Yeah, they take the military aspect from Gannon. Used to go over there, the ROTC and all that.
Yeah.
Clean those statues.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now I don't know if that was since ruled out because of liability, but you would see them
Yeah.
clean the cannons, clean the.
I wonder if it was even saying the pledges, you know.
Yeah, they used to clean that.
I remember the cannons, yeah.
What was his name? The guy that was in the across from the post office too, Eben Brewer, the postmaster. They would clean all those bronze ones. They would take like a different one every year or some.
Well, anyway, I just was curious about that trolley setup because,
Yeah, I wish I could tell you some, but you know what? Nobody's talked to council.
well, it's in a way maybe a good thing because I would like to see him instead of putting that trolley in. Let's get something going on these. I know you're talking so much about the downtown development, but what about the rest of the city? You know, the east side, west side.
Well, I'll believe that things are going well when I see houses built north of 26th Street on the east side of town.
I know I have to give the nuns a great acclamation for doing what they did on the west side here, particularly Little Italy area.
Yeah, they're just getting warmed up on the east side now.
Well, that's good to hear because I know one of those, they got a great ministry of restoring bicycles or so for some of the kids because they found those bikes in the Salvation Army dumped through there. That maybe the nuns could take them and rebuild them and get them out again.
Yep.
So, which is something I did not know they were doing. That's the old, I guess, Jerry fruit place they have for that.
All right.
So, there's a lot of good things I know going on. It's just I wish we were made more aware of what's happening where, and I don't know. I'd like to see some of these businesses like Baniacs, the meat market. They have a great. When I go in there, they're so crowded. Maybe we could try to get somebody to open up a second store for them or something again.
Well, those are the plans for either the bus station or the farmer's market that's being envisioned at GAF site.
Okay. Anything. It's just that we need to get more dispersed into the city to get more attractions. I mean,
Well, we better get going, Doc, so.
all right, I'll let you guys go. Hey, I've been trying since about 20 after 2 to get a hold of this.
Okay.
So, all right.
Thanks,
Hey,
Doc.
welcome back, guys. I don't know, I think you went to visit your family, and I'm glad to see you back. So,
Thanks, Doc.
you too, John. You guys take it easy, and you get to talk to DJ. Let me bring that time for me.
We'll do.
Hey, bye now.
You know, just before we go off the air, we're off the air next week. Next week is Martin Luther King Day. I think that's in the other room.
Oh, hey, Mike, are we closing next week?
Yeah, we are. He told me before the show.
Oh, we are.
I
So,
think next week is Martin Luther King Day.
so we won't be on the air next week? Wow.
Kaz, I mean,
I'm gonna forget how to talk.
you're gonna, next time we see you, you're gonna be a lot better.
Oh, I'm getting better.
Are you? This is
I need a
getting,
cough drop.
you're getting better. Yeah, I know. When you called me last week, I didn't even recognize your voice. You were not good.
So, John, you have any comments before we go? We were talking about something.
We're talking about the authority appointments and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's, it's sad what's happening. I think
Yeah.
we need to approach it in a very, you know, just to disband boards is a bad idea. If you're gonna do it systematically, you know, a gentle, what do you call it, a gentleman, you know.
Turnover, if if you think that they're taking random applications to fill a board position and it's a random situation, then I have some swampland in Florida that I want to sell you. Because for people to think that random situations take place and it's not based on politics, then you're kidding yourself. I mean, I've been around a long time.
Here's something to consider. There are people out there, and I'm not gonna mention a name. I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
This gentleman is an activist,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people that think he's too much of an activist.
Okay.
So, you know, in a group vote, maybe he doesn't get appointed,
Right.
but maybe I like him,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And you know, it sounds nice on paper, but
I'm gonna tell you something about Erie, Kaz.
you know, if you know there's somebody out there, like John, I've asked you a couple times what your interests are.
Yeah.
You know, and I ask other people that I think are the kind of people that are gonna A, ask questions, and B, have some knowledge.
Yeah. Erie's not about leadership. It's about followership. People that go along to get along, those are the people that get ahead. I've been, I've been involved in a lot of different projects, politically, community-based, and it's not about leadership, it's about followership. And it's unfortunate that it's not more about leadership because we all suffer as a community. But, what it boils down to is you have to play the game in order to be part of the game, I guess. And it's unfortunate because we all suffer in the end, but to think that for 1 second that these board authorities or appointments are random is a joke.
No, everybody,
2 minutes?
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with, if there's somebody out there is doing a good job and you want to recommend them for a board, what's wrong with that?
There's not, you guys, council, even the mayor, if there's people you want to appoint, you appoint them. Not everything has to be public this, public that. Because what's going to happen is you get these people that are from the public, then they're going to have people in their ear with their interest, not the interest of the people that are voted. That for you guys, you have to answer to the voters. People that random, they're going to have people in their ear.
Did you ever watch who they used to appoint in the old days?
And don't kid yourself to think that every single appointment is autonomous.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't be so naive to think that, because it's not the way it is. I mean, and for people to come off the streets, and you guys, even the mayor or the council, you guys should be appointing these people because they have nobody to answer. At least with you guys can pay attention. You don't tell them what to do. You don't. You shouldn't. They should be autonomous, but they're not. But at least you guys appoint them, so if worse comes to worse, you can say, what are you doing? What? And rescind your appointment if you think something's not right. But if you start bringing allegedly random people off the street, you have no say-so in what they do. You don't know who is in their ear. You don't know what are they basing their decisions on. Because if you think a lot of people, they're smart people, a lot of them, they're not. They don't know. They're naive to as actually what's going on. And then then things start falling, It's the same thing, you have unintended consequences. As a country, we should know how we've suffered from the unintended consequence. When you pull somebody out, like what's going on in the Middle East, we pulled Saddam out, we pulled this guy out of there, and now we've created this giant vacuum of uncontrollability.
You own what you take.
We can't control anything now.
Well, I guess we're
almost out of time.
won't see you next week, but
Nope,
maybe in 2 weeks.
we'll see. Hopefully you're feeling better.
Well, I definitely will.
We'll see.
I'm not bad now.
No, you're not good. You're not bad. Could be worse. You sound a lot better than the other day when you called me. I didn't even recognize your voice. You were bad.
I was really, for 1 week I was down.
Yeah, you were sick. I was like, damn, cat. So, thanks for watching, guys. Mike, whenever you want to hit the tunes.
Might have been from celebrating.
Too much,
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.